Good morning, fellow artists and drawers. Phila here from South Africa, and welcome back to my channel. So today I decided to do some sketching. More specifically, two characters that I have, namely Leah and Emmy. They're two sisters. I've been concocting, or not concocting them up, but thinking about them for a while now. I've drawn them quite a few times. You'll probably see them a lot more in future, so I decided to do an introduction video to the two sisters. First I want to apologize for the rain. It's been raining for the past 3-4 days. We went on a little trip to see my family in Vicksburg. It's near Clarence. If any of you guys ever come to South Africa or you get the chance, please go visit Clarence. It's this beautiful tourist destination in the mountains. It's basically an art town, a town for artists and people who like crafts and small restaurants and things like that. So we went there for a day or 2 days at least, and then we came back, and it's been raining ever since. And it's not very hard rain, but it's rain that really soaks into the earth. South Africa has been experiencing a dry spell for I won't say a few years, but in 2019, I think it was, we had basically little to no rain. It was very, very dry in South Africa, and then since late 2020, all through the start of 2021, we've had some amazing weather, especially the rain, and I cannot complain one bit. But we're also in summer here, so the rain is a very welcome relief from the summer heat. You'll see me now just sketching away. I like to use colored pencils for my sketching. These are the Faber-Castell Aquarelle series. Now, the pink one I like to use when I'm doing the two sisters, Leah and Emmy, because it works very well with their skin tones when I start to paint. I'm using references off of Pinterest. Now, I've got my Pinterest account linked below if you would also like to see the references that I used. And I usually just start with the overall body shape, and then on top of that I build the actual shape of the limbs, the legs and the arms and the face. And you'll see me in a moment pick up my pen. It's just there it is. It's just a very, very, I didn't even pay for it. I got it from a friend. It's a very nice, very fine ballpoint pen, which I really enjoy sketching with because you can get some very nice lines with a very thin pen. And because this is a small sketchbook, it really works well with the line art. And then while I'm doing the line work, I start to focus on where the facial features are, the detail in the facial features, the fingers, the toes, the clothes, and a tiny bit of shading that I just indicate with cross-hatching. The sketchbook I'm using is a Academy sketchbook. They're made by Prime Art, and this is a 200 GSM paper sketchbook. It's got about 30 pages. I bought it recently because the sketchbook that I used to use was an A4 sketchbook, and I would become so intimidated by using the A4 pages because you have this massive blank page just staring at you. And I find it very intimidating when a blank page is staring at me. So then rather I bought myself a smaller sketchbook in which I can just sketch as much as I want to, and they're very cheap, so I don't feel guilty about drawing something that I don't like or drawing something that's not as impressive as I wanted it to be. Right, so I'm drawing Emmy now, apologies. Emmy's full name, or not full name, Emmy's name is Emily, and she's the younger one of the two sisters. You'll see me in a little while do some sketches. No, wait, I cut out the sketches because it was going to be a very long video if I included the sketches. I'm an extremely slow drawer. I like to take my time because I'm very unsure of myself when I draw. So rather than rushing into it and making mistakes, I just take my time. And this is really something I want to work on in the sketchbook in 2021, to see if I can speed up the process without affecting the quality of my work. As I was saying, Emmy is the younger one of the two sisters, and she is also a gymnast. Now, I know nothing about gymnastics. I've never done it. I know some people who have done rhythmic gymnastics, but overall, I am very much in the dark on what gymnastics is and the concept behind it. So I'm very interested to start reading about it to make sure that I'm in the loop, if you can say it like that. Now I know that in gymnastics there are many very strict rules. For example, the rule about the hair that has to be tied behind the head. Now, you'll see in my drawings and my sketches that I don't do this because a core characteristic element. Apologies if my English is a bit slow or a bit if I can't find the words. English isn't my first language. I'm actually Afrikaans, and speaking in English doesn't come as naturally as I want it to yet. So I'm hoping with these videos that I can improve my English and ensure that one day I can speak properly and form coherent sentences all at once. Anyways, so because it's a core characteristic of Emmy, the two little ponytails or the two bobs hanging from her hair, her two hair ties. I have no idea how to say that. I'm just calling them two ponytails. It's a core characteristic element of her to have the two ponytails, and that is why I don't draw her ponytail. I don't draw her hair tied very tightly behind her head, because then I lose the idea of what this character is. You'll see me now start with Leah, the older sister of the two. And Leah is the athlete of the two. She is a runner, a short and long distance runner, and you can see from their body shapes that they're very much different. Emmy is the shorter one with the bigger bone structure, while Leah is much taller, and she's also she doesn't have a very high body mass because she is a runner. Now, Emmy also does, Leah also does yoga to keep her nice and, I think supple is the word, or soft. She can move very nicely when she does yoga, which then in turn helps with her athleticism, with her running. I usually draw them in these exact outfits. Emmy, who wears shorts and a tight shirt, and then Leah, who usually just wears her athletic outfit, so her running clothes, which is basically just tights and a shirt, or a little bit of a see-through shirt to help with cooling down, because as I said, we're in summer now, and I don't like drawing people in winter clothes in summer or in warm clothes in summer, because why would I do that? They will suffer just as much when it's hot, or at least I feel that way. I'd rather have them in nice cool clothing rather than have them suffering from the heat. Between the two, Emmy is the more outgoing and more popular of the two. She's got more friends and she has a very bright and bubbling social life, while Leah is a more drawn back, she's very into her own privacy and into her own time and space. They are very close, I need to mention. And obviously they do love each other very much. They're currently living with each other, not with their parents. I haven't decided yet, but I want them to be students, but you know, I don't know what they would study, because they're fairly new characters. I think they've only been around for about a year, and I haven't been drawing them as often as I want to. Oh, I want to mention these pencils aren't erasable pencils, but if you really go at it with a eraser, then there's hope, but overall they don't erase very well. So the good thing is, because they're water soluble, when I paint over it, a lot of those the lines, a lot of the pink pencil, it just washes away with the water, or it blends in with the rest of the painting, so I don't really have to worry about lines that I don't want there, because eventually they do disappear. And now we move on to my favorite part of drawing, which is painting, albeit it's also the most terrifying part of art, which is painting. I am very scared to start painting because I never know what the end result will be, and in this particular case, as in most cases, I am very scared that I'm going to mess up the line art, because I really liked how these sketches, or not sketches, these drawings came out. I also cut away the five sketches, the two sketches of Emmy doing some gymnastics, and Leah, there's two of her running, and then there's one of her doing some yoga. Now I cut those out because it took me quite some time to decide on the poses and to decide on actually starting them, and then when it came down to it, I was also very slow to actually sketch them out, because their body proportions and their shapes I need to take into account when I draw, and translating that from a reference on Pinterest and starting to actually draw it in the body shape and include the elements of the characters needs a little bit more brain power than usual. I think that's why I also do voiceovers, because I find it very difficult to talk while I'm painting or talk while I'm drawing, since it takes a lot of my brain power to draw. It's also very relaxing, so I'd rather do a voiceover of my sketches than talking while I'm painting. So the watercolors that I use, let me just tell you the name first. It's a mixture. It's actually a palette that I made myself. The original palette is the Derwent Ink Tense palette, but I found the colors in it to be very chalky, so I took them out. You'll see that the green is the original pan watercolor, the half pan size green watercolor, but the rest of them, and the black as well, but the rest of them I removed, and I just filled them with my own paints that I bought. The main ones that I use are the Winsor & Newton Kochman series, the series 1, and then the Daler Rowney, I think they're called the Aquafine, yes, the Aquafine series. Those are my favorite and most affordable two watercolor brands that exist, or not that exist, that are accessible to me, because Bloemfontein here in the Free State where I live isn't the best known for its art supplies. There's a very nice place, but it's about a 6-hour drive away, which unfortunately I can't make that drive. Where there's a huge art supply store, but as I said, it's very far away, and it's not worth actually going there, paying all the money to go there or drive there, and then actually having to spend money on the actual art supplies. So I'm just settling for what I have, and I'm very happy with what I have. I'm using um, a round, no, it's a mixture of two brushes, the smaller ones I'm using, because I find it's easier to mix them. They're very cheap brushes, these two that I'm currently using. I just find that they paint nice, and I don't even remember when or where I bought them from, but they're just my go-to brushes when I'm painting smaller sizes. Otherwise, I use um, a bigger brush. uh, yes, as you can see, just doing normal layering style painting, where I start with a base layer and work my way up. With these last few sketches, I decided not to go into a lot of detail or mix any of the colors very properly. I just decided to use what I had left from the original paintings or the original colors. I decided to use what I had left to just finish it, because I really don't like wasting any art supplies, since art supplies, they mean a lot to me, and wasting doesn't really go well with what I'm trying to achieve in my art. So I just decided to use the last bit of watercolor to just paint these sketches, because originally I was just going to leave them, because sometimes when the art block hits, I like to paint some old sketches that I haven't colored in yet, and I usually leave sketches like these for times like that. However, because I had so much paint left, I decided to do the last few sketches, with the watercolor that was left. And that's it for today's draw with me, or sketch with me, as in our adventure to fill a sketchbook. Thank you so very much for joining me, and I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Keep drawing, my friends.